A293CF Moreno Valley.
Welcome to Building Solid Foundations Radio. This is your host, Steve Matley. We have special guest today, Anthony Williams. Before I get into that, I want to remind you that if you miss any of our shows live, you can go to kcaaradio.com, catch us on the archive, or you can catch us on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, or Android. Just look for the Building Solid Foundations channel or app. And you're on your favorite podcast platform as well, so check us out. And we do have snippets of the show up on YouTube as well, Building Solid Foundations channel. Check that out. Anthony Williams is an executive partner with IDIQ. We're going to find out what that is. And he works with real estate transactions, protecting people doing real estate transactions. And Anthony, I'm going to let you explain what IDIQ is, how you protect people doing real estate transactions, and why you do it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me here today. Thank you very much. IDIQ is Identity Theft Protection and Credit Monitoring. Simply put.
And identity theft is a false ID you buy out of the back of a van in the park?
Yeah, it's anything really having to do with your social security, email accounts, your personal information, right? Change of address. And when you start, like you had mentioned, when you start bringing up like the real estate transaction, a lot of people don't understand, they're severely exposed. Start changing address, you got mails hanging out in mailboxes that haven't been tended to. Your information's floating all over the place while they're checking your credit, right?
Right.
Nobody ever really thinks about that. But the world's a digital world. So everything that people are doing on their phones, whether they're doing payments, whether they've got cards here, you can't keep track of all that.
Well, they're also, if you're doing transactions and they know what you're doing, they know you're going to be transferring large sums of money. Yes. And if they can get in between that.
The more assets that you start to accumulate, the more at risk that you are.
Right. And so obviously if you're buying homes, you're buying real estate, you're
prime
getting
target.
big assets. That's right.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of money transfers. I know a lot of times identity theft is used to defraud people and wire transfers and those type of things.
Yeah, and social media, having your world essentially placed in digital, a lot of people will put tons of information that's not needed, and that is just, it's like low-hanging fruit. For someone who wants to come in. I mean,
so you would not post on your TikTok and your Facebook and your Instagram that we are buying a house, we're about to close escrow in 2 days and all that kind of. That probably not.
I don't
maybe wait till after
think,
the transaction closes.
Yeah, I don't really necessarily even think that's the key. I think it's like people putting what I would say is people putting their personal phone numbers, their personal email addresses on a Facebook account that they're not using as any sort of business. Right. There's no need for it.
Right.
In my opinion, for that. So yeah, I wouldn't put, hey, I'm going to be at this address on this day doing this.
But now when the social media platform sends you reminders that says you need to put your personal cell phone in here to help us secure your account.
Yeah,
they say those kind of things. And it's doing the opposite.
Unofficially, let me just say that's their way of making sure that the data is correct on their end. That's not necessarily
so they can sell
for
it.
You. Yeah.
So which of course, as they sell your data, exposes you even further.
Yeah, that's one step in the process, right? Your data is part of your financial institution that you're attached to. It's part of loans that you have. It's part of companies where you filled out all other information. They can extract that information from so many different ways. It's almost impossible for you as a single individual to know exactly where they're getting your information from.
Right. And sometimes it's scary what they know about you. And other times, sometimes it's weird that it's slightly inaccurate. I find sometimes that, I don't know, maybe it's the AI they use, they have me profiled a little bit off.
Yeah, well, they're scraping information from tons of media profiles that you have. That's essentially one way that they will do it. They will scrape your information from a social media account, a job posting, whatever the case may be. And they compile it all together. And sometimes, there might be a few numbers off here or there, but they've got the essentials of who you are.
Right. But I also find, that's supposed to generate the ads that you see on a lot of stuff. And sometimes I find if that's the ad they think I'm interested in, they've missed this mark.
For some of them, yeah. Pop-ups and all that too, it just, from my time, is marketing is one heck of a device.
Yeah.
Right. And when you look back to marketing really does sell. It is a way companies grow, but it's also a way that companies implode.
That's right. And that same information, as it gets transferred, every time it gets moved from one place to another, you're exposed again to somebody that could pick that information up and use it against you.
Yeah, what's special about IDIQ is the fact of real-time alerts. So when something's happening at that moment, you're getting notified. We've all, I have personally received information from a bank. Hey, we're not sure if this is your payment, your transaction. So I call and confirm.
Right.
The difference between IDIQ and those is it's real-time alerts. You're not waiting. You're not waiting 30 minutes. You're not waiting for them to verify through their system. We're telling you instantly. The second that we're getting any sort of match having to do with your address or your social, we're on it. You're getting an alert. You're being notified. You get the opportunity to correct that.
Okay. But a lot of times, as those things come up, it tends to be mostly reactive because you have to wait for something to happen.
Yeah.
And then you have to go back and either try to stop something, reverse something, repair damage afterwards. What kind of mechanisms do we have to try and prevent?
Preventive is tough. Always is, because you don't know.
Right.
So you can have things there. The best thing that you can do is have alerts.
Okay.
So you change a password immediately, because once you do that, you're locking them out.
Right.
So what I like to look at is digital hygiene. How are you? Are you securing the stuff that's on your laptop? Are you organized? Do you know where it is? Are you updating those files, those systems, right? That's number one. IDIQ is there to provide you with the alerts and make sure that we can mitigate those issues as they come. So we have a complete US-based support team that is there to help at any notice. You just call a simple number. They walk you through exactly what needs to be hit.
Yeah, and if you can get alerted quickly, it's important because a lot of times what people do is say they get your credit card information. They do some small test transactions for a few $100 here, a few $100 there,
Pennies.
maybe pennies. Yeah, sometimes.
Pennies.
Yeah, maybe a $10 or whatever. Not much, and to see if that goes through.
Correct.
If nothing gets flagged, then they'll try something larger, and then the next day they're extracting thousands.
Yeah, you start to find it too. Sometimes you don't hear anything for maybe a month or two.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, hey, what's this purchase? They've gotten smarter. I mean, we've all seen the IRS scams, right? All these things that you heard for a long time. Prey obviously on age. that's first step number one. Two is just
now they prey on age, and the two groups they go after tends to be older people who probably aren't that tech savvy, who grew up in a world of yellow pages and telephones and knocking on doors, and they're not really aware that the computer can be used in such ways against them.
Well, dormant accounts.
Dormant accounts is another one.
They forget that they had an account. They forget that. Oh yeah, I had this. We paid that off, but and they never cancel it. Right. I signed up for this. I'm never going to use it again. They don't cancel it. Eventually, your information just becomes open. Yeah,
and the other group that seem to go after is the fairly younger people. I would say high school, college age, who are so used to technology that they're careless with it.
Correct.
Yeah, and that seems to be the two target.
Yeah, angles, and so somewhere in between there are the individuals who get it. Right. And or have gotten it and understand it. But even with that, you still have a lot of difficulties. Right. Because it's rampant.
It does happen. And they can get to credit cards, they get to bank accounts. Again, they get in the middle of a transaction of buying real estate or whatever. So with real estate transactions specifically, what do you do to protect that real estate transaction?
So we've been working and partnering with real estate corporations, title companies, mortgage lenders, and what we're doing is we're providing them with these reports, right? We're providing the option for their consumers, their customers to come in, protect themselves, be notified during that transaction, ensure that this can go to close. It does a few things actually. It not only keeps that awareness, but it allows you to understand and possibly get a better interest rate. Down the line, right? Because the more that you're on top of it, the more that making sure that nothing happens, you're good. It's putting you in a better position. It's also giving you the comfort.
Okay. And when you get the alerts, is that something where you sign up for it just during the transaction, or does that maintain afterwards?
No, actually, the options that we provide to them is you can do it from a month-to-month basis. You can get it on an annual basis. You can stay protected. That's where I come in. I'm able to customize those prices. I'm able to ensure that it fits for their consumers, that they are protected. And I work with those brokers, with those agents, and I say, hey, what do you want to do for your clients? This is what we advise. What are you able to do? Let's put it together so that they are protected.
Okay. And does that help also your services? Is that going to help people as far as their credit ratings, and does that have any impact on that?
So we are not a credit repair company.
Well, I understand that,
Yeah.
but will it affect that at some?
Well,
some
if
way?
you're not having any breaches to your personal information and people aren't using it, so yeah. So what we do is we do soft pulls. We actually are not hard pulls. So the differential where we really become a benefit is, number one, we're saving brokers out there, from spending money and damaging somebody's account in that sense. Plus, look at all the turn down business. What about all the people who were not ready at that point in time, needed 6 months or so? They're able to monitor their credit and understand where they are on real time. And that's the benefit of IDIQ. IDIQ offers multiple solutions for them.
Okay, great. I want to get into, probably after the break, because it's going to be a little longer to get into, I want to talk about how why people don't use identity theft protection.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't, and some of the concerns, and then the issue of, I want to get into this after the break too, is when you sign up for this, all the information you're trying to keep protected is the information you have to give to the identity theft protection group so they can protect you, right?
Yeah,
and I think for some people that gives them a little bit of pause. And we have to take a break in about a minute, so I don't want to get into that yet, but jump into marinate on.
Yeah.
And then figure, okay, so how do we get people the comfort and how do we get people past that issue?
Absolutely.
Because on the one hand, we tend to be too careless on what we share online.
Yeah.
And then there's another paranoia part of our brain that when people ask us for any kind of personal information, I don't think I want to share all that with anybody. And so it can prevent us from doing other things. We're going to take a break just for a few minutes, and we'll be right back after this. I'm talking to Anthony Williams. He's with IDIQ. They are identity theft protection, and we're talking about how you can protect yourself, not just in real estate transactions, but all the way around in all your financial dealings. This is Building Solid Foundations Radio. I'm your host, Steve Matley, and we'll be right back after this short break.
FireUp Connect is the most innovative business networking group, supporting and collaborating with a dozen of small businesses that are interested in building and establishing strong business connections, hosting educational live seminars while carrying out business and community-driven projects, as well as marketing programs as a part of its membership program. FireUp Connect also offers virtual assistance with a wide range of services including inbound customer support, chat support, appointment setting and email management, graphic designing, video editing, web design and development, social media marketing, e-commerce solution, content writing and much more. For more information, head on over to www.fireupconnect.com. FireUp Connect, helping success stories unfold every day.
Choose power today and help us create a cleaner planet. Over the past years, utility prices have rapidly increased. Power provides home energy solutions that would save money. Power is the world's first virtual solar company that aims to adopt sustainable energy worldwide. Our company delivers low-cost, clean, and reliable energy solutions. The solar investment allows you to become eligible for an income tax credit. The solar investment is a great way to provide long-term value. Power is the first solar company that reduces carbon footprint for a cleaner environment. Power is experienced and one of the fastest growing solar companies in the United States, which provide the best solutions according to your needs. Call today for your free solar consultation. Join us as one of our ambassadors and earn $1,000. Earn $1,000 when the installation is completed. Free sign up at www.power.com/marie.waite/ambassador. Feel good about what powers your life. Marie Waite, your solar consultant. 951-378-5316. Enjoy your life with solar.com.
Are you a real estate investor looking for a new opportunity in one of the top tourist destinations in the world? Look no further. Welcome to Punta Cana. Perla Bahia is a private resort-style community in Punta Cana that consists of modern condos, custom villas, and various commercial amenities. So if you're interested in learning more or joining us on one of our monthly investment tours, don't hesitate to contact me today at 909-494-2280.
Welcome back to Building Solid Foundations Radio. I'm your host, Steve Matley. Today we're talking to Anthony Williams. He's an executive partner with IDIQ, which is an identity protection, identity theft protection group. That we were talking about protecting yourself in real estate transactions. And before the break, I threw out, why do people sometimes not want to sign up for identity protection? And there could be a lot of reasons, but one thing that I've thought about is when you sign up, you have to give all that personal information you've been told to not share with anybody, has to go to this operation, and so they can protect you so that no one takes the information that you just gave away. And you did it probably online. So talk us through that, Anthony. How does that process work, and where do we find the comfort and the security in that?
Yeah, I have not personally had people say, hey, I don't want to give you my social for it, because yes, it's a very easy, streamlined process. Right. I think the comfort comes in, what I've seen is in the packages that we do offer. People get that level of comfort when they look through how we're protecting them, what's covered. We need your social to verify, number one, who you are, and to be able to track it. Right. So that we can provide you those alerts. So that's the differential. And
so how do you secure that data? Make sure no one breaches your system.
Oh man, we have a lot, a lot of protection.
Because we hear about, a major bank gets breached and Target gets breached.
Yeah.
And these kind of things. So obviously if people are giving information, they have to trust that you're protecting that.
Yeah, so where this is different is, and that was one thing that I was talking, in those institutions, they have firewalls that get breached. Right. Very different. We're protecting the individual user.
And they're getting that, those are information comes from sales transactions. Right.
Yeah, also too is let's face it, people still share a lot of information via email.
Yes,
which is one of the biggest. We have phishing scams, you have texting scams, you have all of that. So I mean, first and foremost, anybody who's getting texts from people that they don't know, hey, your Amazon package showed up and you never ordered anything, don't click the link.
Or sometimes you get a text from someone but that's not their number anymore.
Correct.
And someone knows that you were connected to them.
Yeah. And
so they say, hi, this is so and so. I haven't talked for a while.
Yeah. So I did spend some time in telecom. Yeah. And when I worked in telecom, what I did learn, which was it was awkward. When you don't know it and then you find out, you kind of feel violated in a sense, right? They would literally purchase somebody's old phone number, hack it. Then when somebody purchases it or buys it, they're getting all the information and data coming through that phone number.
Oh, okay.
So that was a whole other way. There are companies out there that have started like blockchain and different things to try to protect for them. I don't want to speak for them, but there's a lot of protection going on with phone numbers and carriers. That translates directly through IT coming into businesses. IDIQ focuses on the individual.
Right. Okay. And so once we get that set up, so other reasons why people may not want to do that. What are other objections people come up with?
Objections are maybe they haven't heard of the service compared to other competitors out there, right? Okay. And that's perfectly fine. IDIQ has grown exponentially in the last 4 years.
Yeah, but even more than just competitors, there's people that just don't have identity protection.
Yeah, there's actually the number, if I'm not mistaken, is about 80% of Americans don't have some sort of protection in place. What we found out, I was speaking with some of the ladies out back there, was the credit unions and banks have put this as a top priority in 2022. So according to Javelin Research, I attended a fraud seminar for them, which is really, really enlightening. It's really, to your point, I would ask you this. What do you think the one thing that people feel when that breach or hack happens at like a credit union or during a real estate transaction? What do you think people feel?
The person that's the victim of it?
Yes, the victim of it.
Well, you probably feel violated. I think you got mugged.
Yeah, so you feel shame too, right? The one thing that we found that they increasingly want is help, to not feel as a burden. They feel that they've become a burden. This is like that psychological, aspect that takes place. They're like, now I got to call them, and all of this.
Yeah, and you got to explain that there's $10,000 worth of transactions that I didn't do, and you're always like and they'll probably recover that for you.
Yeah,
but you kind of feel like you're asking them for a big favor.
But now you've got the two things number one thing is time.
Right. So
the time it takes to now fix this, take care of it, it can take anywhere up to 46 direct hours of time. I mean, how many days is that of work?
That's right.
For you to fix it.
That's a work week.
It can cost up to $40,000 to get your life back that you never intended for any of this to happen. Yeah. So IDIQ is the first line of defense.
Okay.
So by signing up, it's simple sign up. It's really just your name, your information, The verification is your social security, right? Your email that you would like to use. And then depending on the plans that you choose, and we have a multitude and tiers of plans, that's how in depth of features that you can get. Anywhere from a lost wallet to roadside IQ. I mean, it can go in. I don't want to bore people with that, but you are more than welcome to look at idiq.com. You can check out all the plans that are there.
Okay. And when you mentioned that banks and credit unions, that's kind of a priority. Do you think we'll get to a point where banks and credit unions will tell customers, if you have not provided adequate identity theft protection, you're not going to be covered on a fraudulent case?
I can't speak for them on what internally that branch is obligated or not obligated to do. That's their own spider web of laws. What I do know and what I have witnessed is this is being offered when they open a checking account. This is being offered to all members that were existing. This is being offered to all members that are new coming on, and saying, we recommend you have this.
Okay.
So whatever they decide to do after that, because what our job is to educate on what can happen, what is happening, and how to fix it when it does happen.
Okay. And how big a problem is identity theft right now?
I think a lot bigger than people understand. Yeah, because I mean, even just today, a close friend, their Facebook account was hacked.
Okay.
Right, one of their social medias, and then they're sending out messages, "Hey, that wasn't me." So whomever clicks a link that they send.
So they somebody hacks your social media account. They send messages out, and they can send messages out saying, "Hey, I ran into a little trouble. Can you send me some money?"
Correct.
Or whatever, right?
Yeah, that's only one.
And then it's your friends that are sending.
Yeah, and you're thinking it's your friend, right?
Yeah.
What if they hack their email? You know, it's a business person that you've dealt with, and they clone the email.
Right.
You know, you don't realize because you're not used to, you know, hovering over their email address and ensuring that, you know, the entire email address is the email address of the individual. Right. You just see the first section of it because it always cuts off, right? So there's little tips and tricks when looking, obviously, you know, that's there, especially.
No, I find you get the spam emails that come from Amazon, they come from Best Buy, they come from Dick's Sporting Goods, and then you look at the domain. Yes. And that's obviously not them.
Yeah, they'll clone domains, they'll clone email addresses, they'll clone phone numbers, and you think that it's that. So Scott Herman's our CEO. This was his entire vision, right? His company, his vision, and I got an email in my work inbox directly from Scott, and it was spam. You know, so I reported it, right? So because I know who normally the emails would come from.
Right.
He's not sending out personal emails that way. Rosa is, right? So it's coming from the desk of Scott. Like, we totally get it. But for somebody to do that, if they're a new employee, they're going to go, "Oh my gosh, the CEO is sending me an email. He must, you know, I must have done something wonderful, right?" And then you go look, and you're like, "Wait a sec, this isn't what it's supposed to be." So I think people now have more of an awareness as to what is happening, but I still don't think they know the steps or the adequate ways of going about it, saying, okay, now I'm protected.
Right. And a lot of these attacks are coming from outside the country. We know that. A lot of them domestic, but a lot of them come from outside the country, from all kinds of places. The only reason I know that is you look at, like I say, if you look at the full email domains, and you can figure, okay, that's not coming from anywhere here.
But remember, they can also clone them.
Yeah,
they can, you know, just think of a VPN. Right. So, I mean, they could literally be your next door neighbor saying it's coming from another place.
That's true. Yeah.
So there's for them, and that's how sophisticated is probably the best word that this has gotten, because it's gotten so complex. That email you received could have pinged from 6 different directions to get to you, just to mask where the initial point of entry is.
Right.
So so the individuals who have to track that are beyond a wealth of knowledge of being able to figure that out, because they could be pinging Germany when it's coming from America, only to come back to America, but that's the spider web.
Right, okay. And obviously, there's things to look for. Anything that's a text, email, that doesn't make sense, has urgency attached to it. There's an order pending, but you don't remember ordering something. There's an invoice you didn't pay, but you shouldn't have an invoice from them, or maybe you pay them invoices regularly,
Yep.
and you think maybe it's just a rebill, they didn't get the payment or something. You always you got to question everything, and I guess that goes back to obviously ID theft protection, but also good bookkeeping.
Yeah, well, that's the credit monitoring, right?
Yeah.
Which is the inquiries. A lot of times it starts as an inquiry. People inquiring to maybe have an institution lend them money.
Right.
That is one that you wouldn't even check, because who's going on to certain sites to check that?
Right.
IDIQ provides real-time alerts.
Okay.
That's where it's beneficial. So if someone says, I'm going to apply for this loan, you wouldn't see that quite possibly for 30 days.
Or apply for a credit card because they stole an application out of your mailbox.
Maybe for 30 days.
That's right.
IDIQ will provide that instantly.
Okay. Now, I did hear a story, and I don't know if this is true or not, that there was a Ugandan prince that recently died, and all the money was left behind. He had been trying to give it away for years and emailing people, and nobody would take it. Is that true?
I couldn't even tell you how many times I've seen those emails or have heard those. But if he did, God bless him, and I hope all the people get the money back.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with Anthony Williams right here on Building Solid Foundations Radio. And he is the executive partner with IDIQ. We're talking about identity theft protection. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this short break.
Real Men of Real Estate.
Men of Real Estate radio show here on KCAA.
Boats, mortgages can be purchased.
All of us want to live in thriving communities.
Basically, go to the radio station, KCAA radio.com.
You can find us on your dial at 102.3 FM, 1050 AM, as well as 106.5 FM.
This is Steve Matley. Join me every Thursday at 3 p.m. right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations radio talk show. I spent decades as a professional construction manager, business owner, real estate developer, and a college educator, and I enjoy learning new things from other people. We talk a lot about real estate, business, and finance, but we cover a diverse range of other topics as well. Some of the topics we've discussed in the past few months include real estate investing, leadership, higher education, ADUs, marketing using technology, multifamily rental properties, business strategy, entrepreneurship. You never know who may show up or what they may talk about. So join us right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations Radio. Welcome back to Building Solid Foundations Radio. I'm your host, Steve Matley. We are talking today with Anthony Williams, executive partner with IDIQ. We were talking about identity theft and how to protect yourself in a lot of different ways. I think, we've covered a lot of ground here, but I think there's still people out there that aren't really clear on all the ways that they can get hacked. You mentioned getting your social media hacked. We think identity theft, we're thinking, okay, someone's going to get my checking account. Someone's going to get my credit card. But there's people out there that will go file a quitclaim deed on your house.
Correct.
And nobody's checking the county recorder's office on a regular basis just to make sure that doesn't happen, because that's unlikely. So again, how do you protect against those type of things? Are you monitoring those kind of things?
Yeah, so it's absolutely in the monitoring and absolutely in the alerts, like we were just chatting about, right? So having the real-time alerts, then that's what IDIQ provides. That is what's saving people at that point in time, because they're instantly able to change that before something actually goes through. One of the things that's actually been on a huge incline is wire fraud.
Okay, right.
You know, and so when you're making a transaction, it's a fraudulent, it's going into a different account, and before you know it, there goes your $10,000, $12,000, $25,000 that you're putting in there. Nice thing is, IDIQ offers $1 million insurance underwritten by AIG. So it is not an insurance plan, right? We are there to protect you during those issues.
Right, and again, identity theft protection is a great thing to have. And it does all the stuff you don't have time to do, monitor all the places that you wouldn't even know to go monitor. There's still a measure of, I guess, common sense and
digital hygiene.
Healthy cynicism, right, on these things. Where, again, with wire, call the receiving bank before you actually send a wire, or the receiving institution. If you're wiring money to a title company or escrow company or something like that, call the people there and say, I am going to be sending a wire. Is this the correct information?
Yeah, so one of the things that I've put on a priority on my list, so to speak, is to really work the employee benefit or partner benefit options for companies, right? Because what does this do? This eliminates a lot of this conversation immediately. You protect your employees, they're going to protect their customers. Now you've got that downline working for everybody, right? So we do actually work with partnerships or affiliates to help people get this out more to people, right? To their customers, their friends, their family, whomever. With that being said, what does this do as far as like a title company, like you were just bringing? So I've been in discussions with the title company and rolling this out with them in a way that makes sense, because like you said, even with other people involved in the transaction, they're saying, okay, well, where does this come in? They're doing this at the closing.
Right.
I'm giving this to you. Here you go. You are now protected from this point forward. Ultimately, what do we want? We want people protected at the very start of that process. So we're working on both ends of it. So if you did not start with it, we're making sure that you're ending with it. So that when you leave, when you're gone, when it's done, you have everything in place to protect you, so you can ride off into the sunset, so to speak. That is ultimately the goal.
Right. And what you're really doing is hiring somebody that's out there just doing all the stuff you don't have time to do. Checking things, monitoring things, tracking things.
Every second.
Yeah, that just take forever, because you never know what angle it's coming from.
There's not a way you as an individual can monitor everything that you're in. Only go back a year. How many things have you signed up for? How many things have you reviewed? How many emails have you opened? It's impossible for you to compute that. Even 1 year. Take somebody who's been doing it for 10. Right? You get yourself protection now, you don't have to worry about it. When I went and purchased my car, best thing ever. New car for the family. I said, the second you do this, my phone's going to go nuts. And they're like, well, what do you mean? Your bank? Just watch. I had pinging off the hook because they ran, obviously, my credit to add it in there. And the finance guy goes, this is amazing. Would you come back and talk with us about this? How do we get this? Instantly. It was not delayed. It was after they pushed that button, boom, that notification came in. So I'm like, oh, no, this is fine. So I call my bank. I had to wire money, for down payment, put it in there. Yes, we're clear. Yeah, we're good. Okay, done. It was that simple. So within 5 minutes, all the financial worries were gone. I got to get in my car and I didn't have to worry about it again. That was the best part about it. Anytime anything happens. Now, what's nice about IDIQ? We're soft pulls. It's directly between the consumer and the bureaus. We're not damaging any of your information.
Right. Yeah. Because people may or may not know is that every time you have your credit checked, it dings your credit.
Yeah. So when a mortgage broker, when they're pulling your credit for auto loans, or you're trying to get a mortgage, or they're just checking you and they're pre-qualifying you and things like that, that is going to be considered a hard pull. That counts as an inquiry on your credit report. What does that do? hey, and you get certain allotted times to search for a home and an auto, and you can do as many inquiries as much as you want, but eventually that's going to take your score down. Mm-hmm. You don't want that. If there's a way for you to monitor your credit report, your score, see where you are, what needs to be fixed without damaging it, that's a soft pull. Mm-hmm. IDIQ provides soft pulls, so there's no damaging to your credit report.
Okay. And then, so monitoring the credit reporting agencies, there's only a handful of those, right?
Yeah, the top three.
Top three, right. Yeah. But all the other things that you're tracking add up to a lot. If you're tracking social media, and if you're tracking, county recorder offices.
Yeah, in one of our plans, you can literally put like a doctor's office. You can put your email. With one of our plans, you can cover up to 10 devices. So you talk about your cell phone, you can literally have protection on there that will notify you of a website that you're going to, of whether or not it's a threat. Mm-hmm. It's all in the plans.
Okay, so different levels, depends how much you want to have checked. Okay.
Yeah, there's different levels, and that usually comes into how much. But even our lowest plan will provide you 1,000 times more security than you have right now.
Okay, and besides real estate and banks, what other things are we talking about being protected?
It is everything having to do with your social. It is fully encompassing. Yeah, it's your life that's being protected.
So passports?
You can cover passports, you can cover devices, you can cover email accounts, doctor bills, auto bill, your social, your address, change of address, which is huge for a lot of places. You name it. It is literally being covered.
Okay. All right. And then you get real-time alerts. Do you also get like a monthly summary report and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So our platform is really cool. You get to sign in and everything is nicely put in front of you. You can pull your credit reports on a monthly basis. Depending on the plans, it'll offer a 30-day refresh, maybe a biannual, maybe an annual. So that is for you to customize. What do you need? How often do you need, obviously, an updated report, right? Inside there, you could check all of your reports. You could print them. You could download them. You have full control. Everything is right in front of your face. Neatly put, tabs on the side, depending on the plans that you choose. Enter into that tab, and it provides everything for you. If there is a way where you need support, it guides you with instructions plus a support number for you to contact.
Okay. And do you have any, stories of horror stories?
Well, my sister.
Okay.
Yeah, my sister actually got her identity stolen twice.
Okay.
Twice. And the sad part was she was with a well-known place, and it got beat the second time around. After that, she was good because she had tons of she went through a divorce, so that could have been like splitting information where they got her info. But she's been with IDIQ, and there has yet to be an issue. She just purchased a new home. She loved it during the process because it took her some time to get things back on track. She used it with our Scorecaster tool, which was able to kind of fast track how she could get her credit where it needs to be. That's actually an amazing tool that we have as a Scorecaster, and it's wonderful. You can absolutely track where you need. If you say, hey, if I pay off this bill, where do I get here? How do I get my score to where I need it to be? And you project and pay off those and follow the instructions to get
Okay, so for people that are trying to do some credit repair, trying to do recovery, that's a good tool to help them prioritize what to pay when.
Phenomenal.
A lot of times when you get into that, you kind of know what you need to do, but you're not sure what to do when. And so there's different advice. Well, there's advice to pay the small stuff first and then work on the big stuff. And other people say, well, take the hot stuff, whatever's got the highest interest, and pay that stuff and then work your way through.
Yeah, look,
And so if you have something that actually will help you get to, because most people's goal, obviously, eventually is to get debt free, but your initial goal is to try and get to better scores. Because then you can refinance things and reduce your interest
There are
rates.
different methods. It does become kind of an individual situation. But, one thing when I started learning about it, it's like, well, don't pay everything off for all at once. Mm-hmm. That's actually bad, right? Like to do it all at once, it actually drop, right? Mm-hmm. So what I would advise people, what I always advise any consumers, anything is, what I would do is use our tools that we provide you because they're going to give you the accurate information, and make a plan. If you're working with someone, We have tons of credit repair companies that use our platform because of how robust it is, plus the protection. So they're able to literally line by line say, okay, we're going to do this. Okay, let's go here and build a plan. It's about a plan.
Right.
And I think the more that we go forward, people will start to build better plans and create that digital hygiene that we've spoken about for themselves. And then they'll have a level of comfort. They're not worried every 5 seconds. They're not always checking everything because we're going to alert you. So you can actually have peace of mind. And if you see that alert, you know the steps and what you need to do.
Great. We're going to take another short break. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation with Anthony Williams. We are talking about identity theft protection, how to protect yourself in a lot of different ways. He is an executive partner with IDIQ. This is Building Solid Foundations Radio. I'm your host, Steve Matley. We are going to take a short break and be right back after
this. Choose power today and help us create a cleaner planet. Over the past years, utility prices have rapidly increased. Power provides home energy solutions that would save money. Power is the world's first virtual solar company that aims to adopt sustainable energy worldwide. Our company delivers low-cost, clean, and reliable energy solutions. The solar investment allows you to become eligible for an income tax credit. The solar investment is a great way to provide long-term value. Power is the first solar company that reduces carbon footprint for a cleaner environment. Power is experienced and one of the fastest growing solar companies in the United States, which provide the best solutions according to your needs. Call today for your free solar consultation. Join us as one of our ambassadors and earn $1,000. Earn $1,000 when the installation is completed. Free sign up at www.power.com/marie.waite/ambassador. Feel good about what powers your life. Marie Waite, your solar consultant. 951-378-5316. Enjoy your life with solar.com.
Real men of real estate.
Men of Real Estate Radio show here on KCAA.
Boats, mortgages can be purchased.
All of us want to live in thriving communities.
Basically, go to the radio station KCAA radio.com.
You can find us on your dial at 102.3 FM, 1050 AM, as well as 106.5 FM.
Are you a real estate investor looking for a new opportunity in one of the top tourist destinations in the world? Look no further. Welcome to Punta Cana. Perla Bahia is a private resort-style community in Punta Cana that consists of modern condos, custom villas, and various commercial amenities. So if you're interested in learning more or joining us on one of our monthly investment tours, don't hesitate to contact me today at 909-494-2280.
Welcome back to Building Solid Foundations Radio. I'm your host, Steve Matley. We are talking today with Anthony Williams, an executive partner with IDIQ. They provide identity theft protection services. And we've been talking a lot about identity theft, but I want to get a little bit about Anthony himself here. We're doing a little bit backwards. A lot of times we do that up front, but I was interested in getting to the meat of what he does. But you're a self-published author, and so what did you write, and what is it about?
It's the book I wrote was called On Borrowed Time, Reinvention of a Lost Soul. It was really a book about just overcoming a lot of things. And it's funny how things played out, because I wrote that book and released it at the beginning of 2020, which ended up being one of the largest increases for IDIQ due to identity theft and everything else that was taking place, obviously, through 2020 and beyond. But yeah, the book is mainly about reinvention. I actually have a mechanical heart valve, which I got at 21 due to a bacterial infection that ate away my mitral valve. So I needed to have a mechanical valve put in.
Does that make going through TSA kind of tough?
No, it's not like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like that. The best part about it too is the reinvention aspect was I was playing hockey and was really looking to progress that career. But with surgery at 21, I could no longer do it. So then I went into real estate. I got my license. I became a new home specialist. Was really doing it. But then we had, obviously, the crashes of 2008. Mm-hmm. I decided, you know what? it was change of scenery. I was born and raised in New York, came out to California. Then I never left. Okay. So I came out here and then met my wife, ended up having 2 kids. The story goes from there. Now, the cool part about all of that, if anybody wants to know what kind of, I delivered my daughter on the side of the 15 freeway.
Did you really?
Yeah, it's in the book.
Didn't quite make it to the hospital. Huh?
No, we didn't make it to the hospital. It's a great story. It's a crazy story. But right at the corner, right on the exit of Gopher Canyon Road.
Oh, okay. So that's for people that don't know the Southern California area. If you're listening in, that's kind of in a no man's land. You're about 10 miles north of the northernmost civilization of San Diego County.
Yeah. So what great story, which is I saw my wife the night before, and I just said, hey, you look like it's gonna happen, right? And she says, well, no, we're good, we're okay. And we had people monitoring everything else, and I said, no, mate, we've had one before. You look like you're ready to go. Let's just go to the hospital. No, I'm fine. I was like, you know me, I'll get us in the hospital. We'll be fine. No, I'm fine. All right, fine. So I get woken up. It's like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning for my son. He's like 6 at that time. Daddy, Mommy can't get off the couch. I'm like, oh God, no, this is not happening, right? So I get everybody in the car. I'm ripping down the freeway. The sounds that are coming out of the car, let's just put it that way, because I know we're getting close here. I'm like, we got to fix something here. My son's in the back seat thinking it's a roller coaster ride. He loves it, right? Yeah. He's like, oh yeah, we're flying. I see a trooper, and I am hanging half out the window. I'm like, we need help. Like she's pregnant. He sees her, and he's like, oh, okay. So he pulls behind us. Well, now it's almost like we're in a high-speed chase. Yeah. We're ripping down the 15 freeway. He's got his lights on. People probably think I robbed a bank or did something
or
at this
abducted everybody in the car.
But here I am, right? Here I am. I'm like, dude, I got clearance. I'm going for it, right? So pedals down. We're ripping. He signals us. He honks the horn. He says, we're not going to make it. And I know we're not going to make it. But he goes, I signal for fire and ambulance to come meet us, get off of this exit. And this is all through like 85 mile per hour traveling right now. And he's in the car next to us and he's screaming through the window, get over. So I immediately pull over. As soon as I lock up the brakes, man, pull the e-brake, get everything, wife's still in the front seat. He hops out the car. I get my son out the car. I hand him my son so they walk over away from the freeway. By the time I get to the front of the car, my daughter's
crowning
in my wife's yoga pants. No, she's out.
Wow.
She's out, right? So here I am, like thousands of years of civilization. I don't realize like babies can survive that are not in the hospital here, right? And so I have no idea. Yeah. So we're grabbing, I'm grabbing my daughter, and then all of a sudden fire and the ambulance comes up, and they're like, hey, you want to cut the cord? I'm like, I don't give a damn about a cord. Get blankets. It's December. It's kind of cold. They wrapped the baby up, everything. So God bless, everything was fine. But yeah, that's a wild ride of a story.
So future reference, when you get that nagging feeling, follow it, right?
Yeah, it's not my body. She's the one who gave birth to the baby. But I'll tell you this, I give her credit, man. She was up and moving, natural birth. Everything was great. County of San Diego did a phenomenal job.
Well, obviously it wasn't a long labor because it didn't even get to the hospital. So that's
she was in labor, I guess, throughout the night and just
didn't really.
It was second baby. Yeah. From what I hear from people is it's a totally different experience. So the first one was obviously longer. But my son, he was happy because he got a sheriff sticker, so he thought he was really contributing to the situation. But yeah, he did well.
Well, that's cool. So but there again, it means we always want to think that we can't do anything without certain experts, but it's amazing what we can step up and do when we have to do it because it just happens. And again, humans for most of our existence just have to figure things out.
Yeah, right? That is very true. But you know what the nice thing is now? You don't have to. IDIQ will protect you through the process of all of that right now, and I think that's huge.
So will they come and help deliver that kid on the side of the road?
They're not going to help come deliver the kid, but
they'll protect the kid's
But
identity.
they're going to protect the identity of that child.
There you go. So of course, first you have to give the kid an identity, right?
Yes. So that's what I did. I gave him an identity. Nice part is they're now covered under my plan.
Perfect. That's a great story. So also, I know you're a game designer. We don't have a lot of time to get into that. You designed a video game sometime?
Yeah, you could actually go check it out. It's vectormirror.com. They're both in Steam.
Okay.
There's 2 games there. One is a free game. One is a paid game. They're both there. It's a 3D parkour.
Okay.
Game, really cool. A lot of streamers used it to do time runs.
Okay.
Which was really cool.
Cool. All right. And do you have a website we can get to?
Yes. It's idiq.com.
Okay.
You can also contact me directly if you like a phone number.
How do we do that?
Yeah. So that is 951-326-1847.
Okay.
That's the direct line. You can go to idiq.com. You can sign up. You want to become an affiliate, you can do that as well. Or contact me directly, and I will walk you through everything that you need.
Okay. So we've been talking to Anthony Williams, IDIQ, and you can idiq.com or 951-326-1847 if you want to reach him directly. He's been our guest today on Building Solid Foundations, discussing all things identity protection. Again, if you miss us on our first run on the radio, catch us on KCAAradio.com or catch us on one of our streaming services or podcast. This is Steve Matley, your host. This is Building Solid Foundations, and we will see you next week, same place, same time. And until then, go do something different this week.
For more local radio every day,